In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make some banana oatmeal bars. Hey guys, my name is Erin Courtney, and when it comes to breakfast, I love having something that's easy, healthy, and on the go. And these banana oatmeal breakfast bars hit every one of those check marks. One of the things that I love about these oatmeal bars is the versatility. The batch I'm making today is for me and my parents, which means it's going to have wild blueberries, cinnamon, and chopped walnuts in it. But when I make the same batch for my kids, I leave out the cinnamon and throw some chocolate chips in there because they love them. These are a great meal item to pack in lunch boxes or when you're running out the door. And they're gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan. If you have any issues with nuts, all you have to do is leave them out. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe because there's going to be a lot more videos coming. Let's do this.
First thing we're going to do is add our liquid ingredients to our blender. 1 cup of maple syrup, 1 cup of non-dairy milk. Here I'm using oat milk because it is personally my favorite type of non-dairy milk because it's so creamy. Add our vanilla. And now it's time to add our really ugly bananas. You want to make sure that they are very ripe because this makes them soft and sweet and much easier to use in the baking process. And they also puree a lot better whenever they're ripe because they're nice and soft. And for today's recipe, I'm going to add some cinnamon to go along with the blueberries and walnuts. Don't forget to pop that lid on top because that is going to make for a messy, messy kitchen and a long day if you forget to put the lid on top. Trust me, I've learned the hard way. We're going to puree this mixture for about 1 minute. We just want to make sure that everything is pureed very, very well and is nice and smooth. Now we're going to add the pureed ingredients to our oats. Pour that in with 5 cups of old-fashioned oats and give that a good little stir. Now is the time to add our stir-ins, which could be today's recipe, walnuts and frozen wild blueberries, or you can use chocolate chips or whatever other fillings that you want to use. Give that another good stir until it is all mixed in really well. Now it's time to get this into our 9 by 13 inch baking pan, which has been lined with parchment paper, and you want that going over the edge of the sides so that it's easy to pull out of the pan when you're ready to cut your squares. Spread that into an even, smooth layer. This does not move during the baking process because of the ingredients that we're using, but I promise you they hold together really well with that pureed mixture in the oats. Time to pop this in a 350-degree oven for 35 minutes.
With the blueberries and the walnuts, you can do any variety of fruits and nuts that you'd like. If you have a nut allergy, you can use seeds or more fruit. Instead of blueberries, you could use chopped strawberries. But if you're anything like my kids, the chocolate chips are a home run.
This is what it looks like whenever it comes out of the oven. It doesn't look too much different, but it's got a little bit of a slightly brown color so that you know it's baked. Let these cool completely before you cut them. I usually pop mine in the fridge because they're easier to cut whenever they're cold.
Since we made these bars in a 9 by 13 inch pan, you can cut them to whatever size you need. A good average size would be 16 bars, cut 4 ways, cut 4 ways. But if one is truly a meal replacement and you're active, you can cut them bigger. And if they're just used as a snack or for young kids, you can cut them smaller. Again, the versatility, you can't go wrong with it.
Here is where we remove the bars from the pan. That is why I let the parchment paper hang over the side because it's so much easier to transport them to a cutting board. Grab your knife because now it is time to cut them into squares. And these are the medium-sized squares that I was talking about, cutting them into 16 pieces. You can wrap these individually or put them in an airtight container and store in the refrigerator for up to 7 days or in the freezer for up to 6 months.
And now it's time to take a bite. The sweetness from the maple syrup and the blueberries and the crunch from the nuts. These are so good. And they're very filling too. I eat these most days of the week with different variations, of course. And they hold me over for at least 3 to 4 hours, especially if I cut a bigger one. And a lot of times I'll eat one of these after a workout, especially if I go on a 4 or 5 mile run. And although I love these bars as much as I do, I can't eat a whole pan of them in a week. So what do? You wrap them in plastic wrap, put them in a container, and stick them in the freezer. Every night before bed, I'll pull one out of the freezer, pop it in the fridge, and it's thawed by the morning and ready to eat. That wraps it up for today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.